Welcome to the Help or Be Brave podcast show. I'm Amy Ford, and this is a show where we have great ideas on how we can help save lives. And I love that we have Beverly on today. She started an organization called Verity's Village, and I got to hear a presentation that she did not too long ago for a Save the Storks, another pro-life organization. They did a pro-life innovator summit where new ideas could be presented about the movement or an idea that maybe they want to start to do an organization in the movement. And so a few of awards were given out of grants and for these organizations, and Verity's Village was one of them. And when I heard Beverly's story, I was like, we have to get her on. So we're going to bring her on now. Hey, Beverly.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is an honor.
I know. I was just telling everyone how much I loved hearing just the heart behind what you do when I heard you at the Pro-Life Innovator Summit through Save the Storks, and I just knew I had to have you on the show, and you had me in tears. Just your passion is contagious for sure. So I would love for you to just start first with your story of how it all ties into Verity's Village, and then about this ministry that you started.
Sure. So Verity is, we affectionately call her our little caboose because she's our 9th child. And we really never set out to have a big family, but that was God's plan for us. And so when I found out I was pregnant with her, kind of the first stage, I guess, was, okay, I guess we're doing this again, because I thought we were finished with 8 children. And I had just come to terms with this pregnancy, and okay, I guess we're going to have one more. Okay, we can do this. And I got the phone call, and the phone call was terrifying. I had never heard of trisomy 18 or Edwards syndrome before. And, that knot in your stomach when you just feel your heart sinking. And I was asking, what does this mean? And she was polite, but very clinical, and said, well, if this is the case, then probably the baby's not going to make it to birth, and blah, blah, blah. That's about all I heard, right? And then started doing some research and realizing that these babies have a very high mortality rate. And I spent quite a bit of time thinking we were going to bury this little one. It was devastating emotionally and mentally, of course. And then we found an online tribe, and we found some people who actually had not just babies, but children and teenagers and young adults with this syndrome. And I started realizing, oh my goodness, I might actually need to be preparing for this baby to live, not to die. So that was in fall and winter of 2016, 2017. And Verity was born. She was born at full term. And we got to bring her home from the NICU 18 days later. And then all of a sudden we had this fragile little baby and all this equipment, and I was a medical mama. Never really asked for that, Lord, but this is where we were. And so the next year or so, I'd say, was really kind of a desperate struggle for survival. My marriage, our family, we had teenagers all the way down to toddlers, and it was hard. It was just really, really hard. But at the same time, I knew I should be so grateful because she was with us. And so it was just, day by day, one step at a time. And pretty soon we realized that we were kind of holding our breath, waiting for her to pass, because we heard that these babies, only 5 to 10% of them made it to their first birthday. And she hit that milestone. And then she hit her second birthday. And all of a sudden we realized, okay, she's doing all right. This is not a precarious life. We can do this. We can go out and about. We can live our lives. And we started to kind of come out of that long, dark tunnel and realize God had equipped us, blessed us, had really helped us with, we came to think of them as the village. It takes a village, right? And we really thought of our team, our therapists, our nurses, and our church family as Verity's Village. And that is kind of the idea behind this ministry, is not everybody has a village. What do you do when you have a life-limiting diagnosis for your little one and you don't have a village of support? And I started to dig in and realize that most of these parents are pushed toward abortion. They are just not even really given the full range of possibilities. It's just, well, when are we going to schedule your abortion? And that just breaks my heart. I've always been pro-life, but this really helps me see a completely different side of things. And I'm so compassionate towards women that are in this situation because it's not easy. And you start to think, well, maybe that is the most humane choice. Maybe my baby is going to suffer if I carry to term. So
amazing.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you didn't expect that you wish that you had help for, or maybe that you did have help for, that was such a huge thing for you? The things that we take for granted, that with having a special needs child, that's like, this isn't something that I get to do because of this, but when someone stepped in, it helped you a ton.
Sure. Well, sleep comes to mind.
Yeah,
first.
for sure.
You know, every mother of a newborn knows what it's like to have chronic sleep deprivation, for sure. And with Verity, she just had some extra things that made sleeping really hard for her, some medical difficulties. And so there was a huge lack of sleep, and that really takes a toll, as you know. After a while, you lose your ability to really focus and think clearly. And we had a wonderful woman from our church who jumped in and said, hey, can you teach me how to take care of her at night? And I can sit with her so you can get a night of sleep. And I cried when I heard her say that. I just couldn't believe someone would care enough. But that's really was a tangible way that somebody came alongside us and helped us. There are considerations as far as, you can't just throw everyone in the van and go somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you've got the feeding pump, you've got the supplies. We always have a tank of oxygen in the van for a just in case. Verity doesn't normally need oxygen, but you never know what could happen. There's just a myriad of supplies to take. So it's a little bit harder to get out and about. Verity does not have a trach or a ventilator. Some kiddos do. But there are some amazing moms that they pack it up and they go. They have special strollers. We have a special stroller as well. But the getting out and about in the community is a lot harder. So when you're out, like, you want to make it count. Let's get all the things done and let's make the most of it. Let's take family pictures of whatever we're doing, because it's a lot more of a to do. To be active and engaged in the community when you have a special little one like this.
Yeah, so true. And then, so you made, I know you have the big dream of having like a retreat center and all of that, which I just love. And until then, what are some of the things you're working on? And I would love for you to share about the boxes and anything else that you have going on and how you're ministering to these families.
So yes, as you alluded to, kind of the initial dream when I was in that season of desperation was, I just wish I could go somewhere to the mountains and just rest and have family time together. And it is hard, to travel. It's like I mentioned, it's hard to get out in the community, but it's even more hard to travel and make those family memories. So that was kind of the initial dream for Verity's Village. Wouldn't it be great to have a place that is specially set up for special needs families? But then thinking about, well, what can we do right now to pour into this community to help those that just get blindsided with this diagnosis? Some of the mamas in our support group, they struggled with infertility. And then they finally get pregnant, and then they realize that this little one isn't expected to live. And so it's a double blow. You just don't even know what you don't know when you're going through this. And so one thing we did is we started a support group from diagnosis to delivery. It is a private online group through Facebook where we can interact with parents. We can share information. This is a safe place for them to ask those hard questions like, did you choose cremation or a casket? I mean, nobody should be having that kind of a conversation. Yeah. But it helps when you know that you're not alone and that there are other families who have had to wrestle with these questions. We've written a pregnancy journal for this kind of a journey. It is, hard to find a pregnancy journal that isn't all unicorns and rainbows and happy, right. joy. We have a book that's coming out at the end of the month, From Diagnosis to Delivery, What to Expect When the Unexpected Happens During Your Pregnancy. And this is such a labor of love. Like, this is the book I wish I'd had when I was pregnant with Verity. All those questions about, well, how do I prepare for delivery of a child who might be stillborn or might only live a few minutes or a few hours. How do I think beyond that? What if I bring her home? What kind of support is available? All those questions that I wrestled through and thought through. And now that we've had the support group going for almost a year, we have mamas who have been with us from the beginning. Some have delivered, some have lost their babies, some are caring for their babies at home or in the hospital. And it has been a complete honor and a blessing to walk with them through that journey. And many of them provided quotes for this book when I would ask them, okay, what are some of your answers? How would you make memories with your baby in the delivery room if you didn't think that you had long with that child? And they just poured out their heart and shared with me and gave permission to share with others too. So I hope that this will be such a tool and a blessing for families that are walking that road.
Yeah, for sure. And by the time this airs, we will, it will be past a month. So we can definitely put it in our show notes. And so if anyone knows anyone that is going through something like that, or if a listener is, then they can grab that. That sounds like it is a much needed book. And that sounds amazing. And so, all right. So you've mentioned a couple of things of like how people have helped. You had mentioned definitely offering sleep to help you sleep was huge, and helping you pack up all your stuff and go with you places, because there's a lot of moving parts and things that have to go along with the baby. Is there anything else that comes to mind if we all have any friends with special needs children?
We have the perfect way for you to activate your community to change lives and save generations. Grab your copy of the brand new Help Her Be Brave book to discover your place in the pro-life movement, and then start a book club. You can host a Help Her Be Brave book club in person or virtually. We'll send you all the tools to make it fun and easy, and all you have to do is invite your friends and family. Head over to helpherbebrave.com and sign up to receive your free book club toolkit that includes a leader's guide, social media graphics, conversation starters, and so much more. If we were all doing our part in helping women be brave in their choice for life, we really can make abortion unthinkable. Start with hosting a book club today. Visit www.helpherbebrave.com.
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the hardest things about this journey is how isolating it is. And I mentioned finding our tribe online, which was wonderful, but many of these people are literally all around the world. It's not like I can just, meet for coffee with another mama who has a child like mine. It's sometimes, depending on the diagnosis, sometimes you can meet up with people in your community, but just that feeling of loneliness, it's very depressing. A lot of these mamas struggle with anxiety and depression. I mean, think about the first year of Verity's life, we literally woke up every day wondering, is this the day we have to say goodbye to her? That is a weight that I don't think you can fathom unless you've walked that road. But I do think that empathy can take you quite a ways, and that compassion for someone to just recognize that this is a hard life. When I would have people ask over and over, how's Verity doing? How's Verity doing? What's her next appointment? That's great. And I love that she is a valued member, for example, of our church community. But I also kind of felt like, well, what about me? What about mom? Does anyone care that this is a hard journey for me too? So I think asking how mom is doing is really important. Asking how dad is doing. Dads are overlooked a lot too. And I know that in our family, my husband is just as much of a caregiver of our daughter and all of our children as I am. And so acknowledging that, reaching out, hey, can I bring you coffee? Because sometimes it's hard to get out and meet somewhere. Can I stop by with the meal? Can I come clean your bathroom? I had this didn't happen during the Verity season, but when my husband was deployed, for example, I did have a wonderful friend who said, hey, I'm coming to clean your bathroom. Tell me, would you rather me come Tuesday afternoon or Thursday morning? And so she gave me those options of 2 times to come. It wasn't like, can I do this for you? It's, I'm doing this, and here's when I can come. And those types of things, I think, are so practical, and a little goes a long way, because, like I said, feeling isolated is one of the hardest things. And the emotional and mental health of the mama really sets the tone for the whole family. And I know I struggled with that in our first couple years with Verity. And I have a relationship with Jesus. I know that his strength is perfect. I know the truth of Scripture. I know that, yes, he gives us stuff that we can't handle so that he can shine through us. But it's hard when you're slogging it out in the day-to-day, just survival of life. And so I think those are some ideas that the people can reach in and not necessarily have to have any sort of medical knowledge, but just a caring heart to say, I see you. I know this is a hard life. I probably don't know how hard it is, but I want to help you through it. I want you to know you're not alone.
Yes, that's so good. Anybody can do that. So tell us a little bit about Verity. How old is she now? Is she still here with us?
Yes, we are so blessed and grateful. And, she's 4.5 years old now.
What a miracle.
And I just, the 5th birthday is one of those big milestones. Every birthday is a milestone. And she goes to pre-kindergarten. This is her 2nd year, going to school with her nurse, and her little peers there just love her. And I know that we've seen a lot of developmental gains because she gets to be around other kiddos. She is the center of our home. Literally, you walk in the front door and Verity's room is right there. She's in the bedroom because you need in and out access, and there's medical equipment and so on. But her siblings are running in and out and kissing her head and making her laugh. And look, Mom, look what Verity's doing.
Mm-hmm.
They celebrate with us. And I love their little hearts of just joy and compassion when they get to help their little sister with something. She is nonverbal. She is non-ambulatory. So we are helping her with different equipment, a crawler and a gait trainer to give her some opportunity to exercise her muscles and hopefully someday be able to move, from one side of the room to the other. She has a little paramobile that she can joystick around. She definitely communicates with smiles and chortles and squeals and her own little language, but she's a happy, joyful girl. She loves being tickled. She loves music. She just has really brought such joy to our family and so many people, because we share her story publicly online through the Verity's Village site, as well as she has her own little Facebook group, Verity's Voice. Trisomy 18 Song of Triumph is her group there, and it's just a blessing to watch how that can bring hope and encouragement to other people, the way I found hope and encouragement when I stumbled upon other blogs and accounts online where I realized, oh my goodness, this child has the same diagnosis as Verity. And I know every child is different and God has a different story for every one of them, but it did bring me hope as far as seeing different possibilities that maybe, it didn't have to be set in stone that she would just succumb to statistics. But even so, I've been able to walk with mamas who have had that hard road of coming to the labor and delivery room knowing that they were going to give birth to a baby who was no longer living. And every single one of them, they would not change anything. They're so brave. And I love that we can share the legacy as we share their stories through Verity's Village, and then they're there to turn around and share with other mamas. I know what it's like, and I wouldn't do anything differently. I would do it all over again to have that 1 hour with my son, with my daughter. Every single one of them has been changed because of this journey. And it's hard. I mean, we wouldn't wish it on anyone, but yet we see God's grace in those moments, those difficulties. And earlier you had mentioned our boxes, and I didn't get to that part of your question, but we do get to honor those lives through Verity's Village. We send care packages out when the babies are born. And so if they're stillborn, we have certain items that we send to kind of help the family with the grieving process and just to remember the baby. We say the baby's name, we write baby's name all over that package and just say, this is a precious life, and we honor that life and that decision to carry to term. And when the baby's alive, we send some celebratory gifts as well, and a NICU journal, because probably mama's going to be in the NICU for a little while. And it's one way that we can tangibly reach out and say, we see you and you're not alone and you are so, so loved.
That's so good. I love that. I'm just so proud of you. I love like the fact that you have so many kids, and then you have Verity, and you still have like launched this nonprofit. Girl, you are a girl boss. Like, I'm just amazed by you. Totally amazing. So how can people connect with what you're doing if they want to give or support Verity's Village?
Oh, we are so, so grateful. The opportunity to share at the Pro-Life Summit was such a blessing and a good experience. And Storks gave us a $10,000 grant, as you know, to help us incorporate. And so the IRS has officially approved our application, and we are an official nonprofit ministry,
Awesome.
which is so, so great. And so they have also helped us bring up our website. So veritysvillage.com
Awesome.
is there. It's still kind of a work in progress, and I'm not super techy, but there's some information there, and we are working on getting the aspects so that people can go directly there to donate. Depending on when this comes out, I'm not sure if it'll be on the website yet, but we do have our P.O. box there. People can send checks. We have a PayPal account, veritysvillage@gmail.com, that we can receive donations that way as well. And the donations do cover those care packages, and we have special projects coming up that we want to honor the mamas, especially at Christmas time, where that's a hard time to remember the loss of a baby, you know. And so we have some fun surprises for the moms that way. We send out books, our journals, as I mentioned. We like to make those available to our network free of charge. And so all of those donations help cover those expenses. And we would love to connect with you. And I hope you'll remember us if you have a friend or a family member who gets that scary phone call from the doctor and, you know, just is facing that possibility that baby has some sort of life-limiting diagnosis, because we have walked through a number of types of diagnoses with families, and we'd be honored to do that with your contact as well.
Of course. Well, thank you, Beverly, so much for being on today. We so appreciate your heart to serve, and we just hope that everybody gets involved in what you're doing, but you inspire us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a blessing, and we just love Embrace Grace and love that we can support you guys as well, as we got to pack some love boxes from our church as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk soon, Bev. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching and listening today. And you can share this episode with your friends. That would be so helpful to us. If you know someone that maybe is carrying a baby with a life-limiting diagnosis or a special needs child, Verity's Village is such an amazing organization that will bring so much hope and courage in that situation. So get them connected, and just mark it down as an amazing resource in case you ever need it. And also check out helperbebrave.com so you can find new ways to get involved in the movement. You can buy the book. It has over 300 ideas of how to get involved in the movement. There's a quiz you can take, and also tons of podcast shows that you can listen to with people just like you heard today that have great ideas on how they are making a difference and helping women be brave and choose life. So thank you so much for listening today. We'll see you next time.